Okay, now that we've worked on our time with the metronome and in different contexts, how does this apply to the rehearsal or performance? Let's take the first movement of the whole suite in E flat as an example. Letter B, the famous passage with the 16th notes in the woodwinds and the brass and percussion on the chaconne theme in eighth notes on 1 and 3. I've seen many times conductors conduct the melodic line, the brass short notes, and allow the 16th notes all kinds of space to move and shift back and forth, and the players have to really intently adjust based on what the conductor is doing. A better way to approach that passage is to not ignore, but really focus in on the woodwind line and conduct the woodwind line rather than the brass and percussion. If you keep that 16th note pulse going accurately, the brass and percussion will be able to play it no problem. Other examples in music, especially more recent music, involve the percussion section. So frequently there will be some kind of ostinato part, maybe in a snare drum or on a hi-hat. So the subdivision of the pulse is smallest in that particular instrument, maybe 16th notes, and if the conductor is not aware or ignores that particular spot in the percussion section, the percussionist is forced to make a choice. Do I follow the conductor who's shifting the time back and forth, or should I try and keep an accurate tempo? And this is sort of what led me down the path of this topic, is being in the section and having to adjust. So for instance, for a particular conductor, I was playing 16th notes, and I might have to do something like this to make it work out. Where I knew I was having to shift, but to keep everybody together I had to do that. What would have been much better is if the conductor was aware of what I was doing back there and conducted me, or at least allowed me to keep the time. And that's what I would suggest you do as a conductor. If you're confident in your percussionist's ability to keep a steady tempo, tell them, you keep the 16th note pulse, and I will follow you, and I will conduct with you, not at you, or direct you in your time. So that frees up the percussionist to concentrate on keeping as accurate a 16th note pulse as they possibly can, while you as a conductor are freed up to not have to worry about that aspect of the conducting at that moment. And that allows for a much more accurate timekeeping process in music that needs that. Not all music, of course, needs strict pulse. If you're rehearsing rhythms, particular difficult rhythms in rehearsal, the tendency is to go to Dr. Beat and pump it through the speakers. I think a preferable way to deal with that situation is to allow a percussionist, perhaps the snare drummer, to keep the time for that process, or have the band get involved, stomping their feet and clapping upbeats, keeping a steady pulse while you rehearse a particular section of instruments is a much more interesting way to get through the rehearsal process rather than just turning on Dr. Beat. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this short segment on time and the conductor, and that it's given you some new information perhaps to work on. And I invite you to get in touch with me if you have questions or comments. Love to hear from you. My email is below. Thanks a lot for watching.